Hi and welcome to this lesson for the flamenco guitar. I'm Ben, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you the introduction part for Mediterranean Sundance, played by Paco de Lucía, Meola, and John McLaughlin from Friday Night in San Francisco, the quintessential album that you have to hear if you haven't heard it before. It's a classic. The techniques we'll be using for this introduction are three. We've got a 3-finger arpeggio, a 4-finger arpeggio, a 3-finger rasgueo, and some Ligado. That's work that we do with our left-hand fretting fingers. We'll also be doing some dynamics using some vibratos with our fretting fingers as well. And that's pretty much it, so let's get into it. Now there are two chords that we're going to be using. The first one is E minor add 9. And the way that is E, okay, open E, first finger next on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then open G, open 2nd string, B, and open 1st string E. And then the next chord is an E5. So this is basically like a power chord. You're taking your 1st finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string, 4th finger on the 10th fret of the 3rd string, open E, 2nd string, 1st string, and 6th string open. So once again, those two, E minor add 9, and E5. Now for the techniques that we'll be using in this introduction, there are two. The first one is arpeggio. Now this arpeggio is done with 3 fingers, with P, I, and M. And the cycle for it is P, M, I. P, M, I. And the way that we do that is that we rest the thumb briefly onto the B string. So after you've struck it, see how it touches the B string? Only momentarily, and then it returns back ready to strike the G string. So this is essentially a resting stroke. You're not going out into the air, out into the open. You're going intersecting with that next string, the B string. So that's very important. Remember that for this pattern. The next two notes that are played with the M and then the I, those are free strokes. So there's no resting involved on those ones. You're not going to be touching the next string like you did with the thumb. And by the way, if you are a guitarist from a different style other than flamenco, jazz, classical, rock, metal, whatever the case may be for you, or have been trying to dabble in the world of flamenco guitar for quite a while and are frustrated along the process and you don't really know where to start, then I highly suggest that you book a call with me by clicking on the link in the description below. Let's get started, you on your journey right away. Once again, that pattern is thumb, resting briefly on the B string, and then M, it's a free stroke, I, free stroke as well, and then repeat the process. Thumb, M, I, thumb, M, I, thumb, M, I, thumb, M, I. And I would encourage you, if this is new to you, go ahead and loop that over and over again and get that technique within your matrix of your hands. Pay attention to how you rest your thumb on the B string. Make sure you feel that B string as you're resting. Now for the fretting fingers. The 4th finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the G string. 1st finger is going to be on the 1st fret of the B string or the 2nd string. And then E string is open. So we use the right hand pattern that I just showed you for the arpeggio. Ready? Thumb, middle, index. Okay, we do that one time, and then we go down to the next note, which is A. Now we take off our 4th finger, 2nd finger, like that, and then open G. So you have these 3 notes, the B, A, G. Okay, once again. Now we're going to do something interesting. We've played these notes. We're going to do legato here. Legato is either a hammer-on or pull-off. So if you know anything about like fretting with a guitar, if you have experience with that, the hammer-on pull-off are 2 movements. Pull-off is where you pull off a string. Here we're hammering our 2nd finger onto the A note, right? Now I struck that G string, and then I hammer it on with the 2nd finger, the A note. bit slower. Now, if that seems a little bit complex, totally get it. So take the arpeggio out of the way and just focus on the thumb, because you want to get the rhythm down here. That's the most important thing. So what you want to do is maintain the fretting fingers, right? And then cut out the I and the M, just for now. And just play the thumb notes. And then introduce those two notes. So remember that you're adding these two notes, M and I, after every note that you play. M, I, okay, M, I, and then M, I, like that. And then you repeat the cycle. Of course, I'm not playing like in time. I'm just kind of working out pathing and mapping those notes. And then after you get those down, then you can start focusing in on the rhythm. Does that make sense? Let's go on to the next part. Now it's time to go into our chord, which is E minor add 9. The way we're going to do this is using a very smooth move, where I'm going to keep my second finger on the A note while I transition into that chord so I get some resonance going. If we remember, our notes were... The last few notes are played with the M and the I, and then I place my first finger on the B note, which is the second fret of the 5th string, right? And now I keep my note there, my A, briefly, and then I place down my third finger onto the F sharp note. That's the 4th fret of the 4th string, like that. I've taken off my second finger, and now we're ready to go and do our arpeggio here with 4 fingers. I'll show you how to do that. So that was the other technique I talked about, which is arpeggio. We start off with a 3-finger arpeggio with a thumb, index, and middle. This one's going to be thumb, index, middle, and A. Okay, we've got our E minor add 9 hold down, and then I place my thumb, a resting stroke, playing the A string. Then I plucks the 4th string, M strikes the 3rd string, and A strikes the 2nd string. And then I come back up again, M finger strikes the G string again, and then the I finger strikes the 4th string again. So you have this. And then the P finger strikes that note again, the B note on the 5th string. Again. And now I'm going to play my E note with my thumb really quick. Now I got to take up my hand up here to this high register. So now my first finger is on the 7th fret. Now I'm going to do a rasgueo technique with my right hand. So this is going to be up thumb, and then down A, and down I. Once again. Up thumb, down A, and down I. It's going to be a very brief rasgueo. So you have triplet. It's a triplet. The goal here is to get it nice and like separated so that it doesn't sound too muddy. Now you're 50% done, but you're kind of 100% done because I just showed you the whole thing for the intro. Now we're just going to play it again for its second repetition. So you have this again. A couple of notes about musicality for this introduction part. You'll notice that I'm doing a little bit of vibrato with my 4th finger and my 2nd finger. That's where I take the note and I bend it physically down to make the note go up. And you can control the rate of those notes. If you want to go fast, you can go fast. If you want to go slow, you can go slow. It's up to you. The other thing that I want you to concentrate on, this is really important, is make sure that you get that B note in the arpeggio part in the E minor add 9. Make sure it's nice and full. And you do this by placing your thumb down in a resting note. So the thumb digs into that A note and rests on the D string. So that means that that note is accented. It's not, it's louder than the other arpeggio notes. See? This is going to make that arpeggio sound even more powerful. Even though you're not really striking those notes strong, it's that thumb that provides the basis and the fundamental, landscape for that entire arpeggio. And if you want it to sound good, you're going to always need to make that note nice and strong with a rest stroke. So remember that rest strokes are very important for the flamenco guitar. All right, so now that we've mapped out those notes and we feel pretty comfortable with it, let's go ahead and give it a try and practice it really slow at 52 beats per minute. Ready? Here we go. 2 and 3 and 4. So we worked our way through that one, and now we're going to do it a little bit faster at 79 beats per minute. All right, ready? Here we go. 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now things are really cooking. We're really warmed up, and I think we're ready for full speed at 105 beats per minute. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And a special thank you to all our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/flamenco4you. You make this whole channel work. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.